Hello and welcome to another video. Today we'll be doing physiology part 2. Before starting physiology part 2, there are two things that I wanted to mention. In the physiology part 1, I have said something mistakenly. I was teaching about respiratory acidosis, and at that time I mentioned that patients who are breathing fast, they have respiratory acidosis. Actually, I wanted to say something different, but I accidentally said it in respiratory acidosis this happens. Actually, what I wanted to say is that patients who present to the ER who are breathless, who have shortness of breath, who have bronchial asthma, who have COPD, all of these patients are going to have carbon dioxide retention because they are having shallow breathing. There is ineffective exchange of oxygen and carbon dioxide. Okay, and in that case, there is going to be respiratory acidosis. That acidosis is not because of the hyperventilation. Hyperventilation in itself is a different entity. I do not know what I was thinking about while I said this. I thought that it is understood, but yeah, I did not explain it well. So this is one thing that I wanted to make a correction in my previous video. There's another video in pancreas. So in pancreas also I've done a similar kind of a mistake. Actually what happened is I said that the exocrine part is responsible for the hormonal control, and endocrine is responsible for this enzymes, but actually it is the other way, right? So the endocrine part is always, it deals with the hormones, and the exocrine part always deals with the digestive enzyme secretion. This has been exchanged while I was teaching. I was not attentive enough, I should be saying. So these are the two corrections that need to be done. Also, I'm new to this, so yeah, it is going to take some time for me to adjust well. So today we are talking about kidney, like the further more topics of kidney. So today first is control of plasma osmolality. Control of plasma osmolality. See, whenever there is increased water intake, if you drink a lot of water, if a lot of fluid is administered to a patient, what is going to happen? There is going to be dilution. Okay? And if there is reduced water intake, there is going to be hemoconcentration, which we call. So there is concentration, increased concentration or increased osmolarity of the plasma, right? This is what I need to tell you. So this leads to this. Increase or decrease in water intake leads to dilution or concentration. This dilution or concentration is actually sensed by osmoreceptors. These osmoreceptors are present in the anterior hypothalamus. This is what you need to know. Where are the osmoreceptors? They are in the anterior hypothalamus. They sense the changes in the concentration, osmolarity, and then if there is dilution, if there is hemoconcentration, like if there is increased osmolarity, what is it going to do? It is going to secrete ADH. What is ADH? ADH is known as Antidiuretic Hormone. Diuretic means what? Diuretic means God. Diuretic means that it is going to increase urine output, right? So whenever we say antidiuretic, it means that it is going to reduce urine output, which means it is going to keep fluid inside the body. So it is actually going to increase fluid. It is going to increase water. How is it going to increase? Two ways. One is to decrease the urine output, which I just mentioned seconds ago. And the second one is what it can do. It can increase thirst by the thirst centers, right? So two things I have told you, that whenever there is increased osmolarity, the osmoreceptors in the anterior hypothalamus, they will cause release of antidiuretic hormone. This antidiuretic hormone will reduce the urine output and it is going to increase the thirst. This ADH hormone is produced by the hypothalamus, but it is stored in the posterior part of pituitary. So it is basically released from posterior pituitary. Okay. this is all. Plasma osmolarity. Plasma osmolarity is directly proportional to ADH levels, which means that if plasma osmolarity is very high, this means that water content is very low. So at this time, ADH levels will also be very, very high. Okay. And this is also going to be proportional to urine osmolarity. Why? Because see, if there is reduced urine output, that means that whatever urine is coming, it is going to be very, very concentrated. So the osmolarity of urine also increases. So all these three are directly proportional to each other. Please remember. Now, maximum ADH. Whenever there is maximum ADH production in the body, the urine output will be minimum. Did you understand? If there is maximum ADH in the body, then the urine output is going to be minimum. Why? Because it is going to reduce the urine output. At that time, the minimum urine output will be as low as 400 ml per day in the presence of maximum values of ADH, right? Then when there is normal urine osmolarity, which means you and me, we are drinking water sufficiently. If we are drinking water sufficiently, then our urine osmolarity is going to be in the normal range, and that normal range is anywhere between 300 to 800 milliosmol per kg of water. Then if there is maximum ADH, there is going to be maximum concentration. So maximum it goes up to 1400 milliosmol per kg of water. But then there is also a time when there is a lot of dilution, which we call it as diabetes insipidus. Do you know? At this time what happens is there is no ADH. When there is no ADH, the urine output is up to 25 liters per day. And at this time, there is as low as 60 milliosmol per kg of water. This is a very low osmolarity, which means the urine is very, very, very dilute. Okay. So maximum ADH secretion will cause reduced urine output as low as 400 ml per day. Normal urine osmolarity is somewhere between 300 to 800. But when there is a lot of ADH, there is a lot of concentration. So the osmolarity of urine increases. It may increase up to 1400 milliosmol per kg. In case of diabetes insipidus, it goes all opposite. There is no ADH, no concentration of urine. So it comes as low as 60 milliosmol per kg of water. ADH, when it is released, it has a half-life of somewhere around 10 minutes. It is metabolized by both liver and kidney. This is what has been asked once, so I had to mention this, right? Then let's talk about distal collecting, DCT, distal convoluted tubule and collecting duct. DCT and CD, distal convoluted tubule and collecting duct. This does 4 regulation. What is the 4 regulations that it does? It does potassium regulation, sodium regulation, calcium regulation and pH regulation. Okay, now we need to understand about a few things. First, let's talk about sodium. So in sodium, what happens? We know that the proximal convoluted tubule and the loop of Henle, both of these are mainly responsible for the absorption of sodium. So almost 90% of sodium gets reabsorbed into the body, again back into the body from the kidney in these two. But then whenever there is more requirement, so what happens is there is rest 10% of reabsorption occurring in the DCT and the collecting duct. That is what we have to understand right now. In the DCT, there is 10, I'll tell you. In the DCT, there is 10% remaining sodium reabsorption by 2 channels. Which are the 2 channels? One is ENaC and the other is NCC. ENaC is what? Epithelial sodium channels. And NCC is what? Sodium chloride channel. Co-transporter. Okay. This ENaC is present in late DCT, late parts of distal convoluted tubule, and it is inhibited by ANP, atrial natriuretic peptide. But this sodium chloride, namak, salt, just remember this way, it is present in the entire DCT and it is also responsible for reabsorption of. Now let's see what I'm telling is there is an electrical offset. This electrical offset is produced by ROM-K channel. What is ROM-K? ROM-K stands for renal outer medullary potassium channel. What this channel does is it removes out potassium into the urine in exchange for sodium which comes inside. I hope you understand. So apart from these two channels, there is a ROM-K channel which is towards the basolateral membrane. It causes potassium to come outside and in exchange it takes in sodium. Okay. Now, all these three channels are controlled by aldosterone. So what aldosterone does is aldosterone actually increases sodium, potassium, ATPase. It increases ROM-K and it increases ENaC channel. Okay, just a second. I'll show you. These two are towards the urine side. This one is towards the blood side. Wait, I'll tell you. Just wait, just a second. Let's draw it here, right? Let's draw it here. You'll be able to understand better. See, what happens is, let's make compartments. This is the urine side. I have strategically colored it as yellow so that you understand. So this is basically the tubule. This is what is the urine is being formed, right? It will go into the collecting duct and then into the ureter. This is the blood. Oh god, this is the blood. Just a second. Yeah, this is the blood. This is the blood side. Okay, what is there in between? In between there is the luminal cell, which we call as the luminal cell. Okay, luminal cells are these. Now what I'm trying to tell you is, towards the urine side there is ENaC channel, ENaC, and there is ROM-K channel, ROM-K, renal outer medullary potassium channel. And then what is towards blood side? This is the sodium potassium ATPase. Okay, so now what is going to happen? Through the ENaC channel, there is going to be sodium inside. Okay, sodium is going to go inside. Then through, what is this? Through the ROM-K channel also, sodium is going to go inside, but one potassium is going to come outside, out. Okay, and then the sodium potassium ATPase, we know this, 3 versus 2. So sodium will go inside the blood and potassium will come here. This same potassium will go from the ROM-K channel outside. So this is actually leading to potassium loss, if you are able to understand what I'm saying. Okay, we were talking about another channel, NCC, sodium chloride, namak, I told you, right? This is also NCC. This is also towards the urinary side, which means it is towards the apical membrane side. It is towards the luminal side. This also, what it does is absorbs one sodium and in exchange it will give one chloride outside. Okay, so this is all about it. No, this is co-transporter. Wait, just a second. Hold on. Yeah. This is going to take one chloride also inside. So see, in a nutshell, there are 4 channels. 4 channels. Out of these 4 channels, 3 are towards the luminal side, towards the urine side actually, and 1 is towards the blood side. Okay, towards the urine side are ENaC channel, ROM-K channel, and the NCC. And towards the blood side, there is sodium potassium ATPase. Okay, all of these are trying to reabsorb sodium, but there are only 2 channels which are playing with potassium. Which are the 2 channels? One is the ROM-K channel. It is causing excretion of one potassium every time sodium enters inside. And then there is sodium potassium ATPase. This is also causing excretion of potassium outside. Both of these, now I'm going to encircle, which are controlled by aldosterone. ENaC, ROMK and the sodium potassium ATPase, these three are under the direct control of aldosterone. So in a nutshell, we can say that aldosterone is indirectly causing excretion of potassium and causing reabsorption of sodium. Did you understand? This is what I wanted to tell about sodium reabsorption. Now let's talk about potassium. Since you have understood all of this, you will be able to understand potassium better. So potassium secretion occurs through kidney. So potassium secretion, one is through aldosterone, and through aldosterone, how I have explained you, through sodium potassium ATPase and through renal outer medullary potassium channels. This is what I have already told you. Okay. Then there are diuretics. Understand. This is the Bowman's capsule. This is the PCT. This is the descending limb. This is the ascending limb. This is the DCT. Then this is going to be the collecting duct. Easy. Now see. Diuretics, what do? They remove fluid from the body. Just imagine whatever is in... See, there is an imagination problem. Just imagine whatever is there inside this tubule is urine. This is the urine. Okay. Now, the longer this urine stays inside this tubule, there are chances of particles being reabsorbed into the body. So what do diuretics do? Diuretics will increase the flow. Diuretics will try to increase the flow, and this flow is known as tubular flow. So all diuretics that will increase the tubular flow will cause increase of potassium secretion also. Potassium secretion is also known as potassium excretion, right? So all those diuretics which have a tendency of increasing the tubular flow are going to cause hypokalemia. I hope that makes sense. So we also know about, I have told in the last class also about acidosis and alkalosis. So in acidosis there is hyperkalemia, and in alkalosis there is hypokalemia. Right? So in acidosis, what is going to happen? There is reduced secretion. That is why there is hyperkalemia, right? It causes hyperkalemia. So this is about potassium secretion. Most of it has been covered in sodium. Now we are going to understand about water reabsorption. So water reabsorption, very, very, very important. So water reabsorption, already we should know that the distal convoluted tubule and collecting duct, these two are impermeable to water. Which means what? All the water absorption is basically dependent on the proximal convoluted tubule and the loop of Henle. But whenever there is ADH in the presence of antidiuretic hormone, these two become permeable, right? So how do they become permeable? Because of the aquaporin channels. These aquaporin channels come towards which cells? The principal cells. Principal cells of the DCT, and that is how it causes reabsorption of water. Then these two are also impermeable to urea. This is what you should know. Urea. So water and urea, DCT and collecting duct are impermeable already. Also, you should know one thing. This is a smaller nephron, the proximal convoluted tubule. Then this is the loop of Henle, DCT, and the collecting duct. Collecting duct is here, right? Then there is another nephron over here. This is the Bowman's capsule. This is the PCT. This is the loop of Henle. Then this is the DCT, and then comes the collecting duct. Okay. See, this is it. What is the difference? This is a shorter loop of Henle, LOH. This is a long loop of Henle, right? This is going to go till the medulla of the kidney. but this is not going to go up till the medulla. This is going to stay up till the cortex. So these nephrons are known as the cortical nephrons, and these are known as the medullary nephron. Only 25% of nephrons are medullary, most of them are cortical nephrons, right? This is what you need to know. But there are a few things that there is a difference between both of them, but what I am trying to explain here is that no matter if it is a cortical nephron or a medullary nephron, both of them are going to take part in concentration of urine. If we have to increase water reabsorption, then the ADH works on both, that is the cortical nephron as well as the medullary nephron. Okay, this is it. Then let's talk about urea. Water has been completed. Urea. See, talking about urea, so the collecting duct, I just drew a diagram, right? So the collecting duct, when it goes down and down and down, this part becomes the cortical part of the collecting duct, and the lower part becomes the medullary part of the collecting duct. I just told that DCT and collecting duct are impermeable to urea, but the medullary collecting duct is partially permeable to urea. This is what you need to know. So medullary collecting duct is partially relatively permeable, partially permeable. What happens is, I'll again draw a nephron here, back to back for the third time. So see, Bowman's capsule, PCT, loop of Henle, DCT, collecting duct. This is the collecting duct. Now what happens is, I am going to draw red. Red means it is not permeable, right? So DCT is not permeable. The cortical part of collecting duct is not permeable. Just imagine whatever I've painted in red is not permeable to urea, but the other parts are permeable, right? So what happens is, again remember, this is urine. I'm going to draw urine. This is urine, because most of us are failed to remember that, oh, this is urine. This is actually supposed to go outside the body, right? So this is our urine. Urine is supposed to go outside, right? Clear till here? I'll take a different color. Okay. So see, now what I'm trying to say is that urea, this is permeable, right? Where is urea concentration higher? So here the urea concentration is relatively lower, but towards the medullary part, the urea concentration is very, very high. Urea is osmotically active, which means what? That it is going to increase the osmolarity of the part where it is there, right? So it is relatively lower here, and it is relatively higher in the medullary part, right? What happens is, urea, see, do you realize that this ascending part of loop of Henle is permeable to urea? So urea is going to go from the body into the urine. Then it travels in the DCT. Now in DCT, can it come outside? No. Can it go inside? No. Why? Because this part is red. This is not permeable. Then this urea travels where? Into the collecting duct. And in the collecting duct also, can it go outside? No. Can it go outside? No. Can it come inside? No. Then what happens? It goes into the medullary part of the collecting duct. Can it come outside? Yes. So this is how urea cycling occur. So urea cycling, how does it occur? It goes from the ascending loop. Did you see the ascending loop here? Yeah. It goes from the ascending loop to the DCT, to the collecting duct. And then from the collecting duct, it comes back into the interstitium. This part here. And then it again goes here. Did you understand? So this is how basically the cycling of urea occurs. And why is it important? Because if there is enough osmolarity outside, it will draw water outside. Wherever there is hypertonic, water is attracted towards the side. So urea makes the surrounding medium hypertonic. So whenever there is, I'm making it with blue color, whenever it is hypertonic, water will come out. And whenever water will come out, where is this water coming out? It is coming out from the urine. So from your urine, water is coming into the body. So your urine starts to become more and more concentrated. And this blue arrows, this is coming inside the body. This is our body. The yellow part is the urine. Do you understand? This is how it is. Now this was about urea cycling. Now we'll read about calcium reabsorption.